Good day. This is GR. And as part of our monthly newsletter strategy called This Month at Remax, uh, the objective of that is to give you as much as we can in one place so you don't get barraged with emails throughout the month. So, with that, Pat asked me to do a section routinely on things that are business value to you, not necessarily running your sales stuff, but it is how to run your business. So, today I'm going to do one on LLCs. And I'm going to refer to my notes here because it's a bit of detail. I commonly get the LLC question from realtors. It goes something like this. I hear others talking about setting up an LLC to run their commissions and expenses through. What are the advantages of this? And when should I do that in my career? So let's have that overview discussion today. Let's start with how you create an LLC and then transition to the why and end with advantages. First, you want to create a single member LLC, and with your accountant, you want to do an S corporation election. That doesn't mean anything to most of us, but the single member LLC means it's not a partnership, and thus you don't have to have bylaws and all the things that go with running a partnership. It's really not that big deal. You can set it up online services. Your attorney can do it. I recently just did one and my accountant did it for me. So it's just not that hard. As a sidebar discussion, when you do set up your LLC, you'll be issued an EIN number, common term. I believe that stands for employee identification number. I think of it as a social security number for my new business entity. Okay, next steps. Once you form your LLC, you need to go to a bank and open up a business checking account in the name of that LLC. The bank will want all of those LLC documents you use, take those with you. There's one that gives you the EIN number. They don't just want the number, they want the entire form. So take that with you. Now you need to get a payroll system if you don't have that, a bookkeeper or an online system. They're not even expensive anymore and they're abundant. And lastly, you have to file a tax return for your new business entity and all the profits and loss flow to your personal. Okay. Now, what are the advantages? Stick with me on this one. It'll make a little more sense as we get to the tail end. With your new LLC, your new business entity, you will pay yourself, excuse me, two ways: a salary and a distribution. Distribution is the accounting term for profits in your company. You'll pay yourself a paycheck routinely, and you'll pay yourself a distribution. Okay. Note that the salary component doesn't have to be a fixed number. You can pay yourself a reasonable salary for 3 months, as an example. Then you do not pay yourself for the next 2 months for whatever reason, or you pay yourself half or double. There's no fixed rules on that. The general rule is that you target to take 50% of your yearly income in income, in payroll, and 50% in distributions of your new company. I've seen some accountants that want to do 55% salary and 45% distribution. I personally use 50-50. As I approach the end of the year, I kind of know what my end year is going to end up looking like. I will get my stuff in balance and I'll have a 50-50. Now, here's the good news. On the salary component, you have to pay your estimated taxes quarterly as you're supposed to be doing now, but your software is going to do that for you pretty easily. And you have to pay Social Security and Medicare, which accountants call FICA, for retirement. And today that's 15.3%. 15.3 is important. And now the real beauty of this approach. On the distribution side, you have to pay your estimated taxes as normal, but you do not, and I underline not, have to pay 15.3 15.3% Social Security and Medicare, the FICA component. Yes, I said 15.3 on distributions does not have to be paid. Profits to your company are not subject to Social Security and Medicare. Today, if you don't have an LLC, you're paying 15.3% on all of your money. Let's do a fun example. And let's say you made 100,000 in commissions this year, just because the math is easy. You will pay yourself routine paychecks on half of that income, that total $50,000. Now let's talk about the other $50,000. You will take distributions on the other half, typically quarterly. That's what I do, but I don't think that's a hard and fast rule. You can take them out multiple times during the year. Again, profits are not subject to Medicare and Social Security. To summarize this example, if you don't have an LLC, the $100,000 you will pay 15.3% for Social Security and Medicare. And that is $15,300 you pay Medicare and Social Security. 15,300. With an LLC, you would only pay 7,650 on the first 50,000. That's 50,000 times 15.3, and you paid 7,650. On the other half, because you paid yourself a dividend, you have no Social Security and Medicare contributions to make. Thus, you save 15.3% on 50,000, which is $7,650. So you saved $7,650 more than the guy who doesn't have an LLC. I don't know about you, but I can always use a $640 a month rate. And for those who make more than 100, this is even a bigger deal to you. This is my disclaimer. Be sure to discuss with your accountant and bookkeeper. I'm not your accountant, and I don't have that license, that shingle, that sign on my door. So have that discussion with you. Pat and I have been doing this for 20 plus years and know quite a few realtors who do the same. I would be happy to have a private discussion with any of you who would like to consider and think through this as an option. And I would even be happy to get on a call with your accountant or Zoom, however we want to do that. You, your accountant, and I can help you get started with them. Also, a plug for ChatGPT here. It's a very helpful option. Tell Chat, hey, I'm a realtor and considering setting up an LLC, and ask it, how do I do that and what are the advantages? And you'll be amazed at what they tell you. It's really good stuff. Once all this legal stuff is done and the bookkeeping system is set up and in place, this is probably easier than what you're dealing with today, but there is some setup. For example, the payroll system calculates your estimated taxes, and most of it sends it in for you if you click that button. And some of it software even does your LLC taxes. So lastly, I have this discussion with realtors. Whenever I have this discussion with realtors, the discussion comes up at what income level should I start this at? My recommendation is somewhere between 35, 50, $60,000, and you're doing that routinely. It's time to have an LLC. Again, I'm here to help you with your questions, here to help you work with your accountant, and you know the number. Thanks. Have a great day.